Welcome to the section on the Occupational Health and Safety Act. In the previous section, we went over what occupational health and safety is. So now it's time to actually have a look at the regulations. The first thing that we need to understand about the Occupational Health and Safety Act is that it's not voluntary. It's legislated and therefore it's law. Companies have to follow the regulations that are stipulated within the Act. And obviously if you don't, there will be repercussions, which we'll discuss at a later stage. When we look at the title page of the actual Act, you will see that it is administered by the Department of Labour. Also, if we look on the title page of the actual Act, it actually lists what the Act is all about and what its purpose is. The first thing that is listed is that the Act is there to provide for the health and safety of persons at work, which makes perfect sense since this is the Occupational Health and Safety Act. The second thing that is listed is that the Act is there for the health and safety of persons in connection with the use of plant and machinery. Now, this has been singled out because plant and machinery is inherently dangerous, and the hazards associated with it and the risks of operating these machines and equipment are high. The next purpose of the Act is the protection of persons other than persons at work against hazards. So what do they mean by the protection of persons other than persons at work? Well, that covers things like visitors to the workplace, contractors, anyone that's not employed by their company but might be on the premises for whatever known reason. The last purpose of the Act that is listed is to establish an advisory council. This council will advise the Department of Labour as to changes in health and safety, international standards, etc., in order to keep the Act as current as possible. So now we know what the purpose of the Act is, let's have a look at the contents of the Act. You'll see the Act is a pretty comprehensive document. It's made up of 50 sections, and in this course we won't be going through all 50 sections. We're going to go through some specific sections to give us an overall idea of what the employer's obligations are, what the employee's obligations are, and finally what happens if there's non-compliance. What are the repercussions if you don't follow the rules? The last question or query that we're going to cover in this section, or answer in this section rather, is since the Occupational Health and Safety Act is law, do all companies have to follow it? And the answer is no. Mines and maritime shipping have their own rules and regulations. These exceptions are covered in Section 3 of the Act. So, as long as you're not involved in mining or in maritime operations, you have to follow the rules of the Occupational Health and Safety Act. That basically brings us to the end of this session. We hope you enjoyed it and have a broader understanding of the scope of the Occupational Health and Safety Act.